The Division news, or the latest Division update about the Division Heartland, is showing to be a return of survival. If you remember, in the original game, the Division survival mode was praised and lauded as one of the best things they added to the game at that point in time. People have been begging for it to return, and the latest Division Heartland news is looking like 4 modes that are all very much built on the idea and the identity of survival. I'm going to break it all down for you right here at the beginning of the stream in a very quick update. I'm going to bring people over from this morning's stream. We did a discussion about everything we know about Summer Game Fest. We did our own predictions about what will be there, and the Division Heartland may be making an appearance. We don't know. We will be covering Summer Game Fest and all of the festivities and all of the announcements and activities. Ubisoft definitely pushed back what they were going to be doing, and that's not happening anytime soon. But let me give you the deets right now. This is a Reforge update. The Division Heartland leaks look like the return of the Division survival will be the central identity of the game. I'm going to break down everything from this leak. It seems credible, and the descriptions remind me a lot of my favorite game mode from the Division 1. If you like these quick Reforge updates, hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss them, or check out Reforge Gaming where I stream the discussions live. So in this thing, we're going to cover the 4 modes announced, why they all feel like iterations of survival, but we're going to ask the question, what will this be like long term? Will it have a relationship with Division 2? Will it still be a looter at its heart and soul? Okay, so we're pulling this from GameSpot. New details have emerged regarding one of Ubisoft's upcoming games, The Division Heartland. Tom Henderson reports for Tryhard Guides that the free-to-play Heartland will have 4 modes, which is 2 more than was previously reported. So what are the modes? According to the report, Heartland's 4 modes include Excursion, Storm, Nightfall, and Hunt. The Division Excursion is a PvE mode where players must scavenge for loot and explore a map as they struggle to survive against AI until they can extract via helicopter, according to the report. That sounds like the non-PvP version of survival, right? That sounds exactly like it. Now, there's the PvPvE version called Storm. So the Division Storm will have players fighting against real human players as they scavenge for items. The Storm mode has deadly gas that expands from random points during each match, according to the report. So I always said, take the Division survival mode, put it in the full map, have the winter storm closing, the blizzard closing, create that sort of quasi-battle royale, but really honoring the survival mode. That's exactly what Storm sounds like. The 3rd and 4th modes are the Division Nightfall. The report said that this is an objective-based PvE mode where players need to scavenge for loot and survive, but with the added twist of completing objectives during the rounds as well. This sounds like a twist on the first PvE mode, which is called Excursion. So Excursion and Nightfall sound similar, but Nightfall will be objective-based if you want to maybe ratchet things up a bit. Okay, examples mentioned in the report included hunting down targets or deploying beacons, and then in Nightfall, players cannot extract at night. You must defeat AI enemies called vultures until morning, the report said. So there is a time element there that you have to survive. So it doesn't necessarily sound like a closing circle. It just sounds like the vultures are going to be tracking you, finding you, and you have to survive. Now, the 4th mode is the Division Hunt. The report did not have much information on this mode, but its name suggests it will be more traditional head-to-head PvP mode. I would imagine it would be essentially like how Nightfall adds the objective-based elements. Maybe they have a mode that is more purely PvP, more head-to-head. Now, cross-play and a launch window. The report said that Heartland will have cross-play support and that the title is far along in development and could launch end of this year. That's actually pretty surprising given how little we know about the title and how little that they've said. This could be covered later in the year. So when will we see it? As for when we will see more of Heartland, the report said more details might come during the Xbox showcase on June 12th or possibly during Ubisoft showcase that is coming in the forthcoming months. Ubisoft has not, however, announced any plans for the showcase this year. So the questions I have is, what about loot? Are we getting loot? Is our character leveling? Are we amassing things that help us? this? Is it purely cosmetically driven? What about ongoing gameplay? Will my character from Division 2 come over into this? Will there be any connection between the titles? These are all questions that I have about the longevity and the solvency of this game. We'll have to wait for more details from Ubisoft. As always, if you like these quick updates, hit subscribe and the bell button and check out Reforge Gaming where I stream live, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll see the rest of you right now. I swear, I get those videos are so much better once I'm wound up. You guys got me really wound up during the previous stream, and those updates just flow so much better. What do you guys think? Is this something that you would play, number one? Like, I'm curious if it's the centrality of the game seems 100% centered around survival. Like, everything sounded like survival, right? Is this connected to Div 2 or a separate game? I don't know. As far as we know right now, it's a completely separate free-to-play game that will not have a connection to the Division 2. So what's going to be the draw? Why come and play it? You know, if it's just like a pure survival game mode, essentially. Oh, thanks, Mama. If it's just a pure survival game mode, then why would anybody want to play it? My wife made homemade marshmallow fluff, and she made me a sample of what the kids are having so I could taste it. I'm gonna give it a sample right now. Okay, that's good. That's good. Enjoy it, kiddo. You don't like it? Oh, it doesn't taste good with the peanut butter. Okay, well, I can understand that. Yeah, get out. Insulting fluffernutters. Go to your room. You're grounded. That's a cute Marvel shirt. Looks really familiar, babe. It's not an 80s tee, so you can wear it.
If you click the link, you can buy it.
There are a couple of Marvel shirts like that, though, at 80s Tees that people can get from the Marvel collection. Use code LONO at 80stees.com. There's nothing like the feeling of seeing a good world premiere in your inbox. It's a game over, says the snitch. What are they saying? Oh, game over is something shown in the Overdose teaser that's being sent out. Oh boy, we're going to get to see that Overdose game. So let's just ask. Let's just ask. Okay, give me 1 second, Mama. Let me set a poll. The Division Heartland, if it's a lot of the survival mode, will you play it? Yes or no? The Division Heartland, if it's a lot of the survival mode as its central identity, will you play it? I want to know. And I'm too good. Reforge intro, Call of Duty Modern Warfare reveal trailer. Oh, did I mess up an intro or something? I don't even know. If I messed it up. Me next. Fluffernutters are peanut butter and marshmallow fluff sandwich. They're so good. They're very good. I started putting bananas in them. Ooh, that would be really good as well. I hope they don't have alt, he starts and stuff, so everything is balanced. Give me 1 second. I gotta give my wife a kiss and thank her for my lunch. It was cute, Mama. Could we get likes on the video? Only 66 likes. Strong start already. Smash the like button. Make sure you're on live chat so you don't miss what anybody is saying. And take our poll at the top of the chat. The Division Heartland. This is the latest Division update that we have. It's going to be very much grounded in survival. Taking gear in with you is not survival. It's Tarkov, says Eugene. Just naked with the pistol survival? Yeah, the Division survival mode, you started with like nothing. You started with like nothing. You started with like a pistol, right? Where did you read that we would take gear with us? Well, we're obviously going, okay, let's deduce some things here. I think we can deduce some things. It says in Excursion You scavenge for loot and explore the map, and you struggle to survive to extract. So are you scavenging for loot purely to survive with the loot or to get out with the loot? Which would mean there's some sort of a leveling, there's some sort of a looting aspect. Leveling a base, extracting gear, using that gear to go back in is not survival, says Eugene. I'm not seeing anything that indicates we go back in with our gear. Because it says you must scavenge for loot and explore the map to struggle to survive, and then you extract via helicopter. And then Storm, you fight against real human players as you scavenge for items. And the gas expands from random points, according to the report. So I'm assuming that one you extract as well. Oh wait, Eugene has more details for us. Hang on a second. Like an escape from Tarkov, the goal of the Division Heartland will be to earn increasingly powerful gear to take on greater challenges within the large Silver Creek play space. Of course, it's also a PvP experience, so taking on other strong opponents will also be a core to the experience. Other gameplay aspects of Storm and Excursion include a base of operations with crafting upgrades to help prepare for the next round, 6 characters to play as alongside 3 different classes, and the return of the Division's enemy forces as AI enemies. Fans can expect to hear official details regarding the Division Heartland over the next couple of months. In both Excursion and Storm, players' goal will be to enter a map, scavenge, loot, explore, and fight any or at least survive against enemies that they encounter. The map's name is said to be Silver Creek and is described as massive. Players will take on these challenges, and if they survive, they can extract with the loot that they received during the match. So is your issue with that, Eugene, that you get to go in with gear? Why does this sound like Rainbow Six Extraction? It would make sense for you to take it in, go back in with it. If not, what's the point? Yeah, if it's a self-contained game, that would make sense, right? Is it gets harder? You can pick harder versions or something? Like, here's my pushback on kind of what you're saying, Eugene. When survival was just a game mode, I agree with you. It was just a game mode, and so you had to keep it contained, okay? In my mind, this is an entire game, so it needs to have its own contained ecosystem that makes sense. Like, there needs to be a sense of upward mobility, a sense of power, a sense of strength, a sense of growth, a sense of progress. It's not survival. It's built on the bones of survival. Read the descriptions. My whole point is, like, the central identity of Heartland is built on the spinal column of survival. Like, that's what survival was. You move through the map, you scavenge, you must survive, you must get out. That's literally what survival was. The only major difference is now we go in with some sense of progress. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Could you ever go into survival with any sort of a benefit? Or you always went in stripped down to nothing? It was always, there was no perks, there was no nothing you could go in with. Not all games have to have progress. I haven't made any progress in Battlefront 2 and I still play it. No, always naked, you start fresh. Okay. I thought so. I didn't want to misremember. I thought that was the case, that you didn't go in with anything extra. So that's the defining difference here. I think it's a needed difference. Who's going to buy a game that's essentially a game mode? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, who would buy? It's number one, Heartland's free. We need to make sure we say that. So, who would download, install a game, and continue to interact with a game that's a glorified game mode? If you don't have any sense of progress, if you don't have any sense of your character doing something ongoing, why would you keep coming back? Div fans haven't been asking for a standalone. Maybe this isn't for the. Maybe this is something separate. This isn't really for Div fans. We've been wanting a survival game mode. Oh, I don't disagree with you on that, but this is meant to be maybe be a catalyst to get people into Div 2. Fun. We've had this debate before, this idea that, like, games shouldn't have a sense of progress or don't need a sense of progress. I think in this landscape, without some sense of progress, without some sense of ongoing, expecting players to engage over time in your live service game without a sense of progress is foolhardy. It's foolhardy. I got it, Barrier. I skipped the song. Thank you, Wheezy. Thank you, Work and Lurk. It's all part of UB's statement of them saying they want to get into free-to-play game space. Heartland will be the first of many coming up. Yeah, this is the first. They said that they were going to start taking their property and doing free-to-play games. If you want somebody to play Division Heartland, 5 weeks later, you need something more than just quote-unquote fun. Like, oh, it's fun. Like, okay. All games are fun to a certain degree, but if your game wants me to be logging back in 5 weeks later, there needs to be some sort of sunk cost. There needs to be some sort of hook or draw or reason to be diving back in. I think that's fair. Now, I'm not going to say a game is bad if they don't do it. I'm not going to say that. But what I do think is crystal clear is if you want people logging back in, it stands to reason to give them ongoing reasons to log back in. It just sort of, it's just, that to me is very logical. If you want people logging back in, there must be some sense of progression, or the likelihood of the logging back in goes down and diminishes over time. I have this brilliant idea. Why not allow us to pay $25 for more loot on our run? Hey, wait a minute. We got some guy from Diablo Immortal's dev team in the chat. Why not just put it in Div 2? I'm going to give you a theory, right? I'm going to give you a theory as what's going on. I think it's the God of War Ragnarok DLC scenario. I think they started building it. They started building a new survival, and they wanted it to be a bigger and better survival. And somebody said, this is kind of a game. This is kind of its own thing. It's becoming like Ghost of Tsushima Legends. It's sort of becoming so defined. It's becoming so identity, established that it'll feel kind of like a weird side growth on Division 2. So maybe we should make this its own game. That's my theory. That's what happened. No, the Modern Warfare 2 reveals tomorrow. And we will be covering that here on Reforge Gaming. Can we get 9 more likes on the vid, guys? Let's go. Let's have a strong start. Go. We got to get these Division streams to pop, man. Division's going to continue having good stuff to cover. Plus, it will be refreshing releasing in its own versus a 4 to 5 year old game. Right. Do we know anything about the environment? Heartland sounds like a big departure from the other two games. Apparently, the map is enormous from insider information. If you're just tuning in, we're covering the latest Division update. The Division Heartland news is essentially 4 modes that all sound very much like survival from the Division 1. And I'm asking, would you play it? The poll at the top of the chat's a 60-40 split. G1 Transformer shirt, really nice. Thank you. It's just from 80s Tees. If you're still trying to get a gift for Dad for Father's Day, use the shirt command. Go to 80s Tees. They got a great Father's Day collection. Just be sure to use code LONO for 30% off. Butter says, I will not have to level up with Division 2 players to be able to enjoy this. I'll just jump in. That's why it's on its own. They made jumping into the Division 2 very easy, to their credit. Now, they've completely jacked up the expertise system, but I think they'll get it figured out. Yeah, or if Dad's a coffee drinker. Yeah, get him some coffee. Do your kids not understand what Soundwave turns into? No, my kids know what cassette players and cassette tapes are. I've talked to them about, my daughter was asking about Winnie the Pooh. And I said, I grew up and I had these real thick clamshells, and you'd open it, and there'd be like 6 cassettes on one side and 6 cassettes on another. We had these Disney ones and Winnie the Pooh ones and these cassette tapes. I said, it's just like you guys listening to audiobooks on your iPads and iPhones, or when you guys get CDs from the library. So they have a catalyst to understanding what a cassette player is. I haven't played Division 1. Is it good? Division 1 was really, really fun, and then it fell off the rails in the end game. They spent a significant amount of time polishing the game, adding to the game, refining the game. It got a lot of praise near the end. Division 2 kind of fell into a similar rut. It had great initial launch, great campaign, and then it fell into an end game rut. And so the pattern right now that seems to be set is the Division 2 is slowly updating to become a significantly better game with their latest update. Now, their latest update, sadly, is not working out that well. Kind of the community's pretty irritated, and most of that has to do with the fact that they messed up the expertise system. Something that was supposed to be great, they had to roll it back, and they messed it up. I remember recording music from the radio on cassette tapes. Yeah, I had a radio where I could do that. I'd put it in, and they'd be like, we got some great music coming up from Stone Temple Pilots and, Nirvana and 9 Inch Nails. And, I try to hit record right when the song started and then stop when it was over. Yeah. Yeah, that Tiger cassette player was dope. I think there will be a Division 3. I do. I think there will be a Division 3. I think primarily what they're trying to do right now is they want to build Division 2 up to a place that becomes more of a launching pad framework for Division 3. Does that make sense? So I think the mistake they made was everything they learned from the Division 1 and Division 1.8 and all of that. I think the challenge that they faced was they couldn't retroactively bake that into the Division 2's endgame. I think too much of the Division 2 had already been built. My theory is that they're attempting to fix that with the next game. At the peak of cassettes, I would craft these mixtapes where I would use the audio from my VCR to put movie sound bites between songs. Took forever, but the final product was really fun. I remember doing that with an MP3 editor on my computer. Define launching pad framework. So essentially, think of it like this. Let's imagine in a year that the Division 2 has the expertise system figured out, the end game content loop figured out. It's all built to where they can do seasons upon seasons upon seasons, and it just sort of keeps going. And the community is very happy with the content loop, the live service element, the ongoing nature of the game. That will be the framework for how Division 3 functions. Creature says, my theory is they want to drive PvP mains to Heartland. Sipping on some iced light roast. Hey, we haven't sold any coffee today. We actually haven't sold any coffee today. If anybody wants to be the first, feel free. We sold like 4 orders yesterday. Those are going out today. My wife's got them. I put the labels out there on the couch this morning. How do they make income if Heartland is free to play? Sorry, I eat during the second stream so I can have my lunch. I think they'll do Battle Pass, Season Pass, and cosmetics. That's what I think they'll do. They'll do Battle Pass, Season Pass, and they'll do cosmetics. That's probably the easiest way to do it. The ESA states that E3 will return in 2023. We're excited about coming back in 2023 with both a digital and an in-person event. All right. We'll see. It's UB, there'll be Battle Pass, there'll be cosmetics. Yeah. If you're just tuning in, the latest Division update is the Division Heartland news. There's 4 game modes. They are all very much inspired by and built on survival. If you remember the Division 1 survival mode, that mode was very popular. Some fans are not happy about this because they have been asking for survival to be put into the Division 2, and that doesn't seem to be the choice that Ubi has made. My theory is that while they were trying to build a bigger and better survival mode, they had competing ideas about, well, what if we did this mode and this mode and that mode? And the more they iterated and built it, I think it became clear that it needed to be its own game, and that's why they're doing this. That's a total theory. There's no leak or no rumor to inform that theory. It's just when I'm looking at it and some of what we heard about God of War Ragnarok originally, that was they sketched out a DLC story idea and it grew and grew and grew, and they're like, this needs to be its own game. I think this is probably a similar situation to that. Sony will buy them in the next few weeks. I think Ubi is one of the likely Sony purchases, yes, because I think they want them for the live service. They want that to be one of their 10 live service games. Normally I don't agree with review bombing. Were you not here yesterday, Sven? That was our lead story yesterday morning. The review bombing of Diablo Immortal. Oh, you weren't here at all? Oh, yeah. It was our lead story. It was our strongest stream we've ever had that wasn't attached to a live event. It was insane. It was freaking bonkers. We peaked at like 866 viewers. People are not happy about that game. It was our strongest. Usually when we have a strong stream like that, it's because of a live event, and we were just literally opinion. No, I don't think they'll change it from the Division 3 to Sony Division. I think they'll call it the Division 3. I think if Sony owns Ubi, Division 3 will be multi-plat. I don't think it'll be an exclusive. Didn't Ubisoft say they would give Ubisoft Plus with the new PS service? No. They will be putting Ubisoft Plus Classics on PS Plus which is going to be 22 classic games. It'll be 50 by the end of the year. So they do have some sort of a deal with Sony. Now, apparently, the rumor, unconfirmed, wasn't even from a reliable source, but somebody said that Ubisoft Classics will be coming to Game Pass as well. So it's possible Microsoft wanted to hold off on that announcement so they have just one more big thing to talk about during the Xbox Bethesda showcase. So if there is no Ubisoft Plus Classics announcement during either of the showcases for Xbox, I think it stands to reason that Ubisoft Classics is an exclusive thing built for Sony, which then adds a lot of credence to the market predictions that Sony might buy Ubisoft. But that theory gets less credence if Microsoft gets the same deal. So we need to wait for those two showcases before we can draw any kind of conclusions. Epic CEO calls Fortnite crypto a scam and threatens legal action. Tim Sweeney is considering legal action against unofficial Fortnite tokens. Get him. Get him, Tim. Oh, it was just a joke? I was like, I don't think they would rebrand. That'd be so weird. Let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. I'm completely free to play. It's fun so far. Lono, I think we should have a pay-to-win Diablo tournament. Let's see who can spend the most. These games are insane. I can't cover Diablo Immortal anymore unless it's an update, if it's news, if it's something worth covering. I'm not going to do gameplay. The same guy that let an NFT crypto game on the Epic Marketplace? Oh, he did? Come on, Tim. Get that crap out of here. If you're just tuning in, be sure to take the poll at the top of the chat. The Division Heartland, if it's a lot of the survival mode, will you play it? The central identity of the Division Heartland seems to be the survival mode from the Division 1. We don't need Diablo Immortals for that, says Creature. We have Super Chat. Let the contest begin. Yeah, we have gifted members in Super Chat. We don't need Diablo Immortal to have a spending competition. Are you doing any non-gaming content anywhere? No, not at the moment. No. We completely pivoted Reforge Radio away from political, religious stuff. It wasn't working. It wasn't good for the brand. We consulted a lot of people before shuttering that. Reforge Radio is now where we go in the afternoon for the rundown. It's also where the Reforge Roundtable lives. So it's another channel that gets a daily news rundown of gaming news and a weekly podcast with Ginger Prime and 30 and Still Gaming. A half-baked battle royale with NFTs to launch on the Epic Game Store, pleasing nobody. Well, somebody should call Tim and say, like, hey, man. You know? Next emote idea, a fan. So anybody we see fanboy nonsense, we can just spam that emote. Although thinking about it, they could have you as a PlayStation employee and your job is to infiltrate Microsoft. Oh, like that's the third game? It makes sense. Politics seems to be everywhere. It's nice to have a refuge from that. Yeah, what was going on, too, is like people that wanted to support the channel and support the conversations, they started getting like really weird videos in their feeds. So, I'm going to report the bot to my partner manager. Tim Sweeney tweeted, Epic Game Store will welcome games that make use of blockchain tech, provided they follow the relevant laws, disclose their terms, and are age-rated by an appropriate group. Though Epic's not using crypto in our games, we welcome innovation in the areas of technology and finance. Yeah. You report every one of those? I have somebody I can report directly to, though, so they can, be more effective in their response. I mean, I had an admin, get a guy IP banned on Purple, so we have our sources. We have our ways of doing things. For me personally, when I played the Division 1 and Survival came out, I went back and that's all I played. That's why I'm in favor of this. Like, if the Division Heartland it's completely disconnected from the Division 2, free to play, completely standalone, I'm totally fine with that. Because, like, I went back to the Division 1 and it was like, that's all I played was Survival. I didn't care about any of the loot that I got because I wasn't presently playing the Division. So to me, a contained game with its own ecosystem and progress and leveling and incentivization to play and grind and do stuff, I don't know, to me it just makes really, really good sense. Like, I'll actually come back and I'll not come back. I'll download it and maybe consider playing it, pretty significantly. Now, I'll stick to the PvE and the objectives, but the bot's not a real person. Can they be IP banned? Well, but there's ways of tracking down who's doing it. What is survival mode? Like a horde mode? Waves of enemies? Okay, so the way Division 1 survival mode worked, this is the way that it worked. There was a preset map with preset routes that you could run if you memorized them to get loot, to survive and extract, okay? You started with, like, a pistol, okay? And it dropped you randomly. You didn't, like, drop in out of a plane like you would in a battle royale, but it would just put you randomly, like, in a room. And you'd immediately have to start looting. Now, you could play the PvP version where there were other players around that could attack you. That was really intense. And then when you go to extract, they know you're trying to extract, and they come, and, like, I think hunters would come as well, and hunters were worth, like, a ton of XP and, like, a ton of stuff. Or you could play the PvE version. And so what you were doing is you were combing through the map and getting stronger and stronger and stronger, all while surviving the cold. So you're having to grab, like, what was it, like food and water to stay warm, or get near fires to stay warm. Once you get too cold, you start dying. I think you take more damage. So there were survival elements from the winter storm. And then you would extract, and the loot that you would get, you'd be able to leave with. So like Escape from Tarkov. This existed before Tarkov as far as my knowledge goes. So yes, it is similar though to Tarkov. Just to give credit where credit is due, I believe this came out before Tarkov. Now, elements of survival in the Division 1 are not original. Like, this is from other games as well. So it's not like wholly original. I just want people to know, like, this isn't like a Tarkov knockoff or ripoff. Like, they did this before Tarkov did it. And I'm sure there were other games that did it before the Division did it. Now, sadly, the game mode was ruined by cheaters. Yeah, you were also infected and needed meds. That's right. Sadly, the game mode was ruined by cheaters. There were people that would go into solo PvP and PvE, and they would team up. So PvE, they would team up and they would go kill all the high-value targets, all the really hot spots. They'd clear the map so fast. It was like there was no way a solo player was doing it. And then you'd catch them. They'd all be together. They'd all be extracting together. They would also do teaming in PvP. So I would do solos, and I would also do duos with another streamer that was bigger than me. She was kind of like big and plugged in and had connections at the company. And so I was playing Division with her survival all the time. We would do duos, and we would always run into 4 people teamed up that were not supposed to be doing that. They were cheating. And so, and we would still kill them. We were pretty much significantly better than most of the people that we crossed paths with. And then, like, the hunters would show up or whatever, and then you would, try and extract and get your loot out. Now, the loot that you would extract would help your character in the main game. You couldn't, like, come back in the next time, run survival again, and then have that loot. that's one of Eugene's concerns about the Division Heartland, is there's a base for crafting, you're leveling your gear, you're getting stronger, you're getting better, to go back in and face increasing challenges in the environment. So the Division Heartland is built off of that identity of you're going to go into a map, you got to survive against AI or other players depending on which mode you pick, and then you got to extract out. The one that sounds the most interesting to me is Nightfall. The Division Nightfall is you got to last until morning. You got to last until morning. Now, the reason that I find this appealing and alluring is I had walked away from the Division completely, and when they added survival, I came back, played it once, and was hooked. But all the loot that I got from survival, I didn't do anything with it because I wasn't playing the main game of the Division. The Division gameplay is good, but in that game, I had kind of stepped away. I was like, I don't really like this game all that much, and so there was no reason for me to do anything with the loot that I was earning, right? That's why this game sounds appealing to me, because I can get the content loop of survival, and that content loop and the loot and the growth is directly linked to my character and my time in the game. So they're directly linked. So it's not this weird juxtaposition of, oh, I came back to the Division to play this game mode and I'm getting all this loot, but then I largely don't care about the loot. So I was primarily only playing it for the fun, and I lost interest over time. It was just like, well, there's not much going on other than winning, and the cheaters made it really irritating. I was trying to go for like high score records in PvE. Cheaters ruined that. Cheaters ruin everything. You know what I mean? They just do. And so we couldn't go for high score, and we couldn't do the PvP either, because there was just too many people teaming. The teaming cheaters just absolutely ruined it. It was like, what's the point in trying? Sounding more and more like Tarkov? Well, more than likely, while they were building this, they were like, Tarkov took a lot of our ideas. Let's take some of theirs. I think that going back in with your gear and your sense of progress is very much borrowed from Tarkov. It is, but if it's going to be its own standalone game, it's like you need some sense of trajectory. You need some sense of, what am I doing? What's my character doing? Like that, they have to be tied, I think. Being able to throw on some Elden Ring while banging my head against the wall in Elden Ring makes my day. We're falling off the rails really, really quickly with this topic. So we either got to get a ton of chat activity and a ton of likes, or you guys are not going to have a very long show. We're going to have to go to radio real quick. This thing died real fast. We're just like dead in the water. Do we know anything about map size? The one thing we read says the map is absolutely huge. They said it's called... Hang on, Eugene posted some screenshots of the article. Where did it go? Here it is. It was the second one. Silver Creek. Silver Creek is the name of the map, and people are saying it's massive. It's huge. Do you think separating PvP and PvE by title will become a thing? We see signs of it. Here's why I don't know if your theory holds water, Creature. So Creature thinks they're trying to siphon the PvP hardcore players like over to Heartland. Half of the game modes are not even PvP. Like, you know what I'm saying? One is PvE, and then the other's PvE objective, and then there's the one that's PvPvE, and then there's the assumption that the hunt mode is also PvP. So I don't see that being this funnel, like, oh, all the PvP sweaties are going to leave the Division 2. I don't see that. The release date? The rumor is it's close to being completion and it might land late this year. I could see them trying to push it out early since the end of this year got pretty thin. There's not a lot of games coming out end of this year. It's a couple, but they could really try to shove it. But the other half are... Okay, but if you're trying to funnel PvP players out of the Division 2, wouldn't you do it with a PvP game? You see what I'm saying? It sounds... Even the one mode, Butters, is PvPvE. It's not even strictly PvP. Do you see what I'm saying? PvPvE is Tarkov, but all the console players will go to that PC players just to play Tarkov? Division has no PvP sweaty people to begin with. I mean, unless you want to think about Dark Zone sweaties, I don't know. Like, people hungry for Dark Zone sweat? I don't know. Can I have your take on Paladins? I've never played it. I don't know anything about it. Love the game, but lately it's mostly impossible to play without an actual team. Nobody plays the objective. I know nothing about that game. I stopped playing Division 2 because there were 3 Ghost Town Dark Zones. PvPvE was endgame. Division 1 giant map was the greatest. Them splitting up the Dark Zones was a massive mistake. Haha, massive. Get it. How many games do you think Xbox releases day of the showcase? I have no predictions there. Division PvP sweats are in the Dark Zone, but again, this is a bullet sponge game, and the new PvPvE mode is not bullet sponge. You won't see those kids go to PvPvE mode since they don't have time to clap back. We don't know if it's bullet sponge. I mean, it probably will be, because they'll be challenging high-value targets, but they did the same thing in survival. People love survival. I always felt like we got matched quicker in the PvP survival than the PvE. Akuda Papa says, I'm not really interested in Heartland, just not a PvP player. I'm not a PvP player either, Akuda Papa, and most of it listed was PvE oriented. 2 of the game modes have no facet of player versus player at all. If it's not bullet sponge, you don't see kids go to it. I'm not sure what you mean, Butters. 235 people have taken the poll. The Division Heartland, if it's a lot of the survival mode, will you play it? It's a 60-40 split. 61% have said yes. 39% have said no. So a lot of people are interested in it that have stopped by today, more than are not interested in it. My little video I uploaded a short this morning. It was my funny story of accidentally tricking my son. That thing is crushing. That little short is crushing. I thought, let me do a non-gaming short. Let me do a short of me just telling a cute story about my son. And it's crushing. I might be interested. I don't like getting yoinked at the end by someone. Well, yoinked could still happen, okay? So let me read the game modes to you guys again. So the Division Excursion, Storm, Nightfall, and Hunt. So these are the 4 modes in the Division Heartland. So the Division Excursion is a PvE mode where players must scavenge for loot and explore a map as they struggle to survive against AI until they extract by helicopter. Then the Division Storm is PvPvE. Players must fight against real human players as they scavenge for items, and the Storm is got a deadly gas that's expanding on the map. The Division Nightfall is objective-based PvE mode where players need to scavenge for loot to survive, but with the added twist of completing objectives during rounds as well. Examples mentioned in the report include hunting down targets and deploying beacons. In the Division Nightfall, players cannot extract at night and must defeat AI enemies called vultures until morning light, the report said. That's the twist that sounds fun to me. Is not just surviving attacks and fights or whatever, but surviving until morning. Now, the 4th mode is the Division Hunt. So Hunt didn't have much information, but the name suggests it's probably a head-to-head PvP mode. That's probably a good prediction. The whole point is to yoink. But that's like people that say the whole point of playing Sea of Thieves is to yoink, grief, and sink. Like, there are people that just don't want to experience that. You know? They don't want to have some other player come and steal their loot. Like, it's just a giant turnoff. They'll play a PvE mode that has risk and reward, has potential loss, right? That's a thing that people will play. But when a real person yoinks the loot, it sets people on edge. They're like, I don't want to play that. Like, I myself, I'll play every single one of those modes, and if I lose stuff at the end, I'll be pretty tilted. My tilted level goes into, like, red alert if it's a real person that stole it. Then don't go into the PvP mode. Well, but that's what Akuta Papa was saying. He thought it was a purely PvP game where you would be getting yoinked at the end from people. And he said he just doesn't want to do that. That's the whole point of the mode. Right. The added... I don't agree with that. Because if there's a PvE version and a PvPvE version, the whole point of the mode is not getting yoinked by players. You have 2 different versions of the mode. So the identity of the mode is not inherently linked to live players yoinking loot. I don't think that's true. If that were the case, then they wouldn't have the 2 versions. It's like, yes, the point of the mode is to extract and the pressure of you might not make it. I don't think getting yoinked by a real player is necessary for that to be a thing. Tarkov is literally, I'm here to take your loot and send you to the lobby, but do quests. It's going to be hacked in a few days. I mean, that would be my biggest concern is the Division 1 survival got run into the ground by cheaters. It is for the PvP mode. Oh, sure. No, I feel like we're passing in the night right now. I don't feel like we're saying anything that's in disagreement. Akuta Papa was operating under a misunderstanding. He thought Division Heartland was nothing but PvP, which would be full of yoinkers. And he's like, I don't want to play that. And I said, well, no. Half the modes, that can't happen. In the PvE mode, the point is to get the loot out before others do. Right, you're still racing against others. There still is an element of, like, there's other players here, because that was my frustration in the Division 1 survival when I was going for high score runs and people were teaming and clearing the map at such a speed I couldn't get anything. I was like, what the frick? HypeX, first-person camera in Fortnite. The update Epic began working on some stuff about first-person camera mode, but there's no other info. It would work really well for 0 build modes. Oh my gosh. You guys want to see this? Holy frick, I would play that. Oh my gosh, I would play this with you guys. We had so much fun with no build. We had so much fun with no build. Can you imagine a no build mode? Can you imagine a no build mode that looks like this? Look at that. Look at that, chat. Holy frick. Oh my gosh. That would be so fun. Oh, I hope that's a thing very, very soon. That would be such a fun community game night, dude. Oh, they're doing VR. They got to. Shut up, Butters. Just let me enjoy a screenshot without talking about VR. Golly. The issue is that when you have PvP in the game, all it's going to be is people cheating to take loot to win from you. It tilts me too much. I can play PvE and lose, but then I can rebuild and rework my gameplay to adjust. I can't adjust for an idiot with an aimbot. Yeah, or teamers, right? Yeah, no build FPS would be super duper fun. Oh, it'd be so fun. It got me to play Fortnite. Let's go. I don't need to imagine it. It's called Apex. No. The difference between Apex and Fortnite no build, there's a universe of difference. One is sweaty third-partyville with audio from 1,000 years away and people that know every nook and cranny of every character and every strategy. The other is like a laid-back, beer-it-up night with buds. I can't do it, dude. I can't do Apex. That game is so dadgum sweaty. I can't freaking do it. There is no casual playing of Apex. I just don't think so. You can't you can't play that game casually. More power to them. Respawn's great. People that love that game is great. I love Nicky Mercs. I think he's done great things in that game. I love that he's talking about the cheating problems in COD, and he knows that there are big names that are cheating, and he won't call them out. I got a lot of respect for him. I got a lot of respect for the Apex, community, but I can't friggin' play it. I can't friggin' play it, dude. It's so dadgum sweaty. It is so dadgum sweaty. I just want to crack some beers and laugh, bro. That game, I feel like I got to get out like my Rambo sweatband and be like, all right, I'm this guy, and I've got everything memorized, and I know exactly what to do and when. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Great analogy, Lono. I agree. Yeah, I think more power to the people that love Apex. So I think Respawn's done amazing things. I think it's a phenomenal game. It is just not for me, bro. It's the same reason I stopped playing Fortnite. I stopped playing Fortnite because the builders create a skill gap that makes it incredibly unfun. This season's rank changes are crap. Everyone hates it, including the pros. Oh, that's unfortunate to hear that they've fallen down a little bit in the view of the community. I always hate hearing that. My kid can't even make top 20 in Apex, yet he won 3 games of no-build Fortnite this weekend. Well, no-build Fortnite, with respect, we had the same experience. It's full of bots and more mid-lane level skill players, because the real hardcore Fortnite players, they're not going to leave building behind. They've played for too long. They've acquired too many skills. Imagine playing Apex and they had like a non-character version of Apex, where nobody had abilities and nobody had their characters or their classes or their ults. All the real sweaty Apex players wouldn't play that frickin' game mode because they've spent all this time getting good as Lifeline or whoever, and so that it wouldn't work. So the more committed, more skilled, more sweaty players in Fortnite, they don't touch no build because it's like all their skills that they've worked on and all the things that they're amazing at, it just doesn't land on that at all. Not trying to be mean, but Fortnite has a bigger and more casual base than Fortnite. Wait, that sentence doesn't make any sense, Wheezy. Did you mean to say that Fortnite has a bigger and more casual base than Apex? Oh, I read it and I knew that's what you were saying, even though you typoed it. I was like, I think he's saying it's bigger and more casual than Apex. Oh no, for sure. I am an unashamed casual, bro. I'm like, bro, I'm a casual. I don't want to play any game where I have to sweat. I'm just not in the mood for that. I love Elden Ring, and I've got a special place in my heart for FromSoft games, but brother, I can't do the sweaty PvP stuff. I don't get like salty. I just get annoyed and just apathetic. I'm like, I don't want to play this. You know, I don't want to play this. I also stopped playing several for same reason you did, the cheaters. So as long as solo, not 4v4, would it be a need a single player mode or modes being separated? Okay. Wheezy's drunk, go home. In Fortnite, I can run around as RoboCop. That wins it for me. I'm a COD person. Bunch of plat and diamond players finding out their gold, says Eugene. That's how rank should work. Just because you got plat doesn't mean you deserve to stay in plat. The new ranking promotes hiding, though. Kills don't matter. Oh, so people don't like the D ranking. D ranking is awful. Loses 100 of RP. Yeah, but if the new ranking is promoting hiding and your people are advancing by hiding and not getting kills, that's a terrible. That's contrary to everything. That's contrary to everything that they've talked about. Elon Musk tweeted, YouTube seems to be nonstop scam ads, and people are asking him to buy YouTube and remove all the ads. Good luck. YouTube's owned by Google. This ain't Twitter, homie. Bunch of platinum diamond players finding out they're gone. Those BR games like Fortnite, Apex are so good. Keep my fingers crossed for a Halo BR. I think it could be great. I think a Halo BR could be great. I do. The question is, will it be? Lono gets unhinged. No, it's not even that. Like, it's not even that. If I'm playing Fortnite built in the build environment and it starts to get sweaty, I don't even get that angry. I'm just like, I don't want to play this, and I just shut it off. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I'm too old for this. I can't be sitting here getting angry at some person that no lifes this game. It's like, man, good for you, bro. Good for you, but no. I'm out. I'm out of here. Like, it's not even anger. It's just it's anger followed very quickly by apathy. It's like, I'm out. I can't. This is no fun. I did it with Apex recently. I did it with Fortnite. And then we played Fortnite no build. And we had a blast for like 3 to 4 hours straight. We just had an absolute blast. Time to tee off with friends. Golf with friends, bouncy castle course. Grab your shades and get your crash helmet on. We're thrilled to announce we're releasing a brand new course for golf with friends. Available as a paid DLC, the bouncy castle course is going to hit on June 21st. Not a great day to be trying to sell something for your game. I would try to push that out earlier, because on the 21st is when Fall Guys goes free to play on every platform except for mobile. So this guy said, first 2 weeks, 10 out of 10. Now it's a solid 4 out of 10. And then this guy's saying, sweatiest, most fun ranked split turned into glorified pubs again, and now pubs are ranked. Dicewig is one of the bigger Apex streamers. Games, he's threatening to pull out of his Twitter deal because they won't give him any information on the Twitter bots. Gamers that can successfully have a great playlist for sweaty and casual lobbies. Oh, games that can have successful playlists for sweaty and casuals are the most successful. That's the hardest thing to do. I'm sorry, I don't see any way in hell a Halo Infinite tried Battle Royale would be good. I know. I don't agree with you. I actually think they could. I think they could do it. I think they could pull it off, personally. I do. I think they could pull it off. I do. If you're just tuning in, we're talking the latest Division update is about the Division Heartland. And it looks like the central identity of the game will be survival. If you remember the Division 1 survival mode, much of what we read from the Division Heartland leak is centered around the 4 modes that are very, very much built on the survival identity. And so we are asking the question at the top of the chat. Now we're getting into PvP discussions because It seems as though half of the Division Heartland game will be PvP and the other half will be PvE. So we're getting into discussions about a first-person shooter no-build mode for Fortnite that may be coming, and Apex and matchmaking and all of those things, and what that sort of looks for, like the landscape of PvP going forward. I logged into Division Free Weekend, felt like Outriders, instantly felt sick while playing it. Interesting. You can get 6 kills and get 5th, and get 5th partied and die with a negative 30 if you don't reasonably place. The system is not good. I hate BRs as a coup de papa, but a Halo BR would interest me. Plus, if they want, they can hire me for ideas because I know the lore really well and could help with how to turn the game into a BR. No disrespect, but I don't think they care about that at coup de papa. I don't think they would care about BR for lore for a BR. The whole purpose of a BR would be to get people in. To get people into play, not really to have lore reasons. Now, I could be wrong. Then you didn't update the game. It runs at 60 now. No pop-in. Well, we don't know where he played, Creature. He could have played on an older system. We also don't know if maybe third-person games bother him, because Outriders and Division have that in common. So he could be saying it felt like Outriders and it made him sick. He could be referring to the perspective in the camera, not necessarily game quality or frames per second. Because he didn't say headache. He said it made him feel sick. I think sometimes the zoomed out camera messes with people. I prefer Division 1's Dark Zone to its survival mode, but I would certainly give it a try. See, I was the exact opposite, QWERTY. I preferred the Division survival. I thought the Division the Division Dark Zone was a freaking joke. That's how I felt. I was like, what the frick is this? It I don't know. It just felt like Griefville. It's why I don't play friggin' Sea of Thieves. There's FOV sliders now too. Turn off camera shake. Yo, it's good, old soul. I also love survival in D1. Yeah, the point that I made a little bit ago was that I actually thought the Division 1 survival was good enough because it brought me back. The dilemma that I always face is when I played, I was always sort of like, I don't care about the loot. I would get all this loot, right? I would get all this loot. I would get all this stuff. And it felt like, you know, what's the point of all this loot? Because I wasn't playing the main game, right? I wasn't going back into the main game was my issue. It was like, well, okay, cool, I got all this great loot, but what am I supposed to do with it, you know? If you guys are just tuning in, we're breaking down the latest Division update and the Division Heartland news that leaked. There's 4 game modes. They're very much inspired by survival, if you remember that from the original game. Do me a favor and smash the like button if you're enjoying the discussion. We might be able to turn this stream a little bit and get some more people in here to hear about the modes, discuss the modes, get exposed to our daily talk show format. We already did a show this morning about Summer Game Fest. We had some big shows yesterday about Diablo Immortal, and we got more gaming news coming. This channel, we stick to an individual topic, and we also do gameplay, but then we have Reforge Radio, which is a great place to go for the rundown, which is a rundown of daily gaming news. So thank you so much for being here. Take our poll at the top of the chat. It says, the Division Heartland, if it's a lot of the survival mode, will you play it? Currently at a 60-40 split, 280 votes. I'd love to see the Division 1 Underground and Division 2. I think that is a missed opportunity. Yo, what's good, Shadow Lemons? It's been a minute? It has been a minute. Welcome back. Apex released the next-gen update and still no 120 FPS. Absolute joke. Wait, I'm confused. You associate... Let me understand what you're saying, Michael. You associate next gen with 120? That to you is one and the same? Because there's plenty of games that are next gen that are going to be flat 60, rock solid 60. Then you get another Halo TV series. People expect lore being followed. Maybe. Here's my thought, Akuta Papa. If you want a very successful Halo BR, I think you have to set your sights outside the Halo community with respect. I think you do. I want you to count in your brain all the guys that are going to be like hyper lore focused. Do you think they're going to enjoy the Battle Royale? All of them unanimously? Or is there going to be a significant percentage of them that don't like it? They're going to be like, that's okay. We thought today was going to be like this, creature. We thought it was going to be a bit of a dip, a bit of a valley. Apex already ran a solid 60. That's what I mean. Like, why would next gen necessitate 120? I don't understand that part of it. I wonder how much of the survival formula they are going to change once the end product is out. It sounds like a mix of survival and Tarkov. It does. 343 made a lore reason for PvP. They'll think of a lore reason somehow. Oh, I'm not saying they won't. I just wonder I'm questioning how much of a priority it will be, because again, I'm thinking of like the guys that would care. Aren't they going to be primarily in a lane that there's a high propensity of them saying, I want arena, right? They're going to want arena. They're not going to want BR. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying the likelihood and the probability of hardcore Halo lore nerds looking for a BR, I don't know. I would be worried that target audience is going to be very much harder to win over with a BR. You do want to shoot outside of Halo, but to bring Halo people, you have to bring the lore. Lore is super high priority because of the universe. So consoles marketed themselves at 120. Not sure why they did that, but they did. Yeah, I think YouTube might be having problems, because we just spiked up to like 290 and we just lost 60 people in the blink of an eye. Are we having blips? This might not be the topic. YouTube might be once again doing some wonky stuff, because that was a freaking huge pendulum swing and we're still falling. Are you guys having to refresh? Is chat acting funky? The lore serves the game doesn't serve the lore. They don't need a reason. Also, next gen's 4K 60 with HDR. There were blips, says Orphan. Okay, I was like, what is happening? We are hemorrhaging. I don't think it's the topic. I think something's going on with YouTube. Bonfire, how many console players are playing on a 144 monitor? Some creature says something's off. Morning numbers are way wrong. You had like 3. I had a blip. Okay. Yeah, because now we're on a rebound. Now we're on a viewership rebound. Yeah, there's something going on. Okay. I thought, man, this is a solid topic. We were off to such a great start, and then all of a sudden we just started having these. It was like this. It was like the viewership were like, what? Boom, what? Boom. I'm like, what's happening? Why is everyone insisting on showing up late to the BR party? Is everyone really that pressed to play BRs? I don't know if that's how I would look at it, Sean. I just think that's part of the evolution right now. You know, is can you do a BR? Now that's not the only part of the evolution, because there's also, you also have to consider we're gonna have an update on Reforge updates about this, right? We're gonna have an update on this very, very shortly, sometime today maybe, or within the next day or so, and it is about Tarkov doing an arena game, a standalone arena game that is coming as well. So I think there's two focuses that have been happening. And I think one of them is that, hey, can we do arena? There's a demand for arena, isn't there? Hey, can we do BR? There's a demand for BR, right? It's going to hit the next few hours. Okay, you stuttered for me a few times. I assumed mobile woes. Got sidetracked and other stuff. Yeah, it's no problem. It's no problem. We've had to start adapting with radio. I wonder, we might need to start typing up a rough sketch for radio. So if we need to bounce early, you know what I'm saying? You could even give me the template for the thumb so we could go into the day more fully loaded. So if we have to dip early and you're busy, I can do it on my own. You know what I mean? It's really odd for Apex to not to after next gen update to not hit 120. You blew up on the Xbox guys? No. That was last stream. This stream was going fine. I don't think the Xbox guys left. We had viewership spikes when I was ranting at the Xbox guys. We didn't have people leaving. I'm on my phone. I have you on my TV as well. A little lag between the two for sure. Yeah, that you'll have some delay between the two platforms for sure. Gonna watch the MW2 reveal trailer today. That's tomorrow, my friend. Today is June 7th. That reveal is tomorrow, June 8th. A Predator's prequel called Prey. Gosh, that artwork looks terrible. Is it going to be a cartoon? From the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane. Well, they got a good director. The art direction there looks really awkward. Is it going to be animated? PUBG made an extra mode, but I think it's bad. Oh, an arena mode. Only good for warming up. PlayStation 5 120 games. Destiny, Dirt, Borderlands, Fortnite, Rocket League, Doom, Rogue Company, Call of Duty Warzone. Oh, it's not. It's a live version. Okay. Well, why wouldn't they just use her real face? She's like super cool looking. I don't understand. That promotional picture is terrible, Sven. Doesn't it look bad? It looks like some dumb, it looks like a CW advertisement for an animated thing. Yeah, with the green, and then they show her. She looks awesome. I don't get that at all. It's a Hulu movie. Yeah, it actually looks like it might be decent. I haven't watched it in motion, but she looks good. The art promotional poster thing looks terrible. Had my days mixed up too hyped. Oh yeah, I know. Big day. Could we get 11 more likes on the video? This has been a really awkward second stream. I think YouTube's acting up. So let's try to get 9 more likes. That might help it. This thing might do well as a VOD if we leave it as fast as possible. Like, it might do well as a past broadcast. Because people will be slowly looking for the information that I shoved into the first 5 minutes. That's one of the beauties of keeping these short if we feel it's the right call. So no, Eugene's agreeing with you. He's saying that Apex not running 120 is way behind in the multiplayer space because he's listing tons of games that are 120 in that realm. And yeah, that is that you might be making a good case, Eugene. I may be a little in the dark on that one. That there are lots of 120 games, and expecting 120 for the Apex update is a reasonable expectation. So I may have been off base in what I was saying. You know. Keep in mind, Apex was native 60 before the update. Game always felt great. You think they're trying to keep it? They're trying to keep it 60 native, so there's no polarity between. There's no disparity between the platforms. You think it's is it possible that that it's by design? True to go with that. Phil's everyone's daddy. Trying to stir the pot. I've always said that I like Phil Spencer. I think he's a very handsome man. I think he's done good work. I like him. I think he's great. I think he's good for the industry. I do. I'm telling you what, if Microsoft Gaming, if they ever shut down, he has a future in the gaming world, man. He's a champion. There's not a single the company would scoop him up so freaking fast. He's great for the industry. I like Phil. I think he brings a really, really good presence. There's already disparity because the old base consoles weren't hitting 60 consistently. So there's already a disparity. You think it's something to do with the engine, Eugene, that just 60 is where it hums best and it gets weird past that or something? Is this a PC-centric channel? No, sir. I play Switch games, Xbox games, PlayStation games, and PC games. I play them all. If they're good and worth covering, they get covered here. We've covered Lost Ark. We've covered New World. Those are PC games. We covered Diablo on mobile and PC. We covered Halo Infinite when it came out. We play Elden Ring on the PlayStation. I covered Spider-Man and Horizon Forbidden West when those came out. Those are PlayStation games. Yeah, man, we covered the gamut. The engine has nothing to do with it. It's on them. No, because PC, they just didn't put in the time. Maybe I said that wrong. Okay, so let's not fault the engine. But Wheezy, do you think sometimes when a game builds itself, it hums at 60, and the minute you go beyond that, things just start to get weird and they just don't feel like messing with that? I'm not a developer. I just know that the minute you go beyond 60, things get funky. It can get funky with hit detection. It can get funky with aim assist. All that stuff gets weird when you go beyond 60 a lot of the times. It's over 240 on PC. Oh, well, I'm an idiot then. Ignore me. Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing it on console. That's weird. That's super weird. If the game can hit 240 on PC, then that decision is a strange one. That's a strange choice. Michael Silva says they've confirmed it's coming. Really? I wonder what the holdup is then. That's odd. That's odd. I like, as much as I wanted a Titanfall 3, like, I like Apex. I like what they've managed to do. I think that they're, it's impressive what Respawn managed to do. Oh, golly, that's the issue. Okay. Yeah, this isn't hitting yet. The Division Heartland's not hitting yet. No one's searching for it. So this will, I bet you people care in a couple of days as this circulates, as the leak circulates. Because I think the more people realize that Division Heartland feels built on the backbone of Division 1 survival mode, I think more people will take an interest because of how popular survival was. I think the community, I think Eugene might be correct that like the Division community is going to get pretty ticked though. They're going to be like, dude, you've been freaking asking for survival all this time, and instead of giving it to us, you're not baking it in, I'm sorry, you're doing a standalone? Like, come on. Like, I honestly think people are going to be irritated. Like, the community will be irritated. That's the question. Will there be enough people outside the community to dive in and say, you know, hey, let's check this out. This is a completely standalone thing, right? Okay. Again, why isn't it in Div 2? I mean, we kind of already did that theory, though, didn't we? I theorized that as they started building it, they decided there was too much to it. It could be its own game. You know? They wanted to make a bigger and better survival, and as they started iterating on it, you know, clearly they took some ideas and inspiration from Tarkov. They were like, this should be its own thing. This won't fit in Div 2. It'll be awkward. It'll be so big and so, you know, I don't know. They can sell micros in Div 2 to the same degree they hope to. Because they can't. Did you mean to type they can't, Eugene, because they can't sell micros in Div 2 to the same degree they hope to? They didn't want the Div 2 install size to be 875 gig. Yeah, Div 2 is already huge. When I downloaded the game, it took for friggin' ever. I had to uninstall like 3 games on my PlayStation 5. I don't know. That could be it too. They're like, This is getting too big. We can't do this. It needs to be its own thing. It can't. Yeah, I'm learning to read typos from long-standing members. I'm like, I know what you're trying to say. This is the first I've heard of it, so you're likely right about people not searching for it yet. They announced it so long ago, I think people forgot about it. Division Heartland was announced like a year ago. I was asking that because I agreed with you about people wanting it and asking for it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, people are going to say that, Smashville. They're going to be like, why is this not in the Division 2? Right? Sometimes less is more. Well, sometimes more is more. Sometimes less is more, you know? Sometimes more is more. When the PS5 Pro and the upgraded Series X come out, they need to come with like 4 terabyte SSDs. Oh my gosh, right? You're constantly needing to uninstall stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. At least I have fast internet. At least I have fast internet. Takes a dadgum long. What does that even mean? Me saying more is more is as empty and hollow as saying less is more. Like, you know, I'm just giving him a taste of his own platitudinous nothing. It's like, you're not saying anything. I quickly scrolled the sub and nobody really seemed interested. Oh, subreddit. Yeah. I thought Heartland was supposed to be all PvP, so I stopped caring. Really? Oh, you thought it was going to be a totally PvP game. Huh. What do we got coming up for you guys on Radio? We should divert. Let's go. Oh, it's already over there. I kept looking for it. I didn't see it. I kept looking for it and didn't see it. Hang on. Okay, 145. Okay, cool. Okay. If you feel like baking into the description, creature, Fortnite FPS mode or something to that effect, I would do that as well. That's going to probably be really, really good to have in that episode as a timestamp, because that broke today. So maybe just bake that in the description. No wait. It's got no wait yet. We could kick it to tomorrow. But if it's in there as a timestamp over the next 24 hours, it could pull. It could. It doesn't have wait now because it literally just broke. There you go. Okay. You think let it cook? Yeah, we can kick it to tomorrow. That's fine. We can kick it to tomorrow and lead with it. We could lead with it tomorrow on radio. Give it that 24-hour bake. Yeah, you're right. We may need it. It's going to be dry until Thursday. For sure. Okay, it's going to redirect you guys. We're going to bail to radio because this video might do better as a past broadcast because nobody's searching for it yet. This could run for a little while or a couple days, and then people could start to find this video and it'll perform way better. Right now, it's not getting traction on YouTube. That's totally fine. We anticipated today and tomorrow being a little bit tough because everybody's going to go really tight-lipped before Thursday with Summer Game Fest, okay? So, I'm going to put a link in chat. I'm also going to redirect you. We do have things to talk about over on Reforge Radio. There's the Battlefield 2042 preseason patch, Escape from Tarkov Arena, Resident Evil 4, stuff like that. We've got a lot of things that are still breaking in the news. You may even find some breaking news to help us cover over there. So click the link in chat, or you can ride the redirect. It will bring you over. Channel-to-channel redirects. Channel-to-channel redirect is functioning very, very well. So we'll see you over there on Reforge Radio. Thanks for supporting all of our channels and all of our efforts. Good discussion about the Division. Even though it was a little short-lived, we still had a good time. All right? I'll see you guys over there on Reforge Radio. There's a link in chat, or ride the redirect.